My name is Annie Cramer, and I'm reading quotations now. In a 2022 article, it was revealed that there was a forest of over 10,000 trees grown, and the people who farmed them? A blind man and an armless man. They needed some inspiration because they realized how devastating the lack of trees were, so they decided to go out and plant on their own. During the first part of it, a storm knocked down only 2 remaining trees out of 800. However, they were not discouraged. One of them said, "You'll be my arms, I'll be your eyes." And through this, they managed to grow over 200,000 trees in this forest. And through this, we can examine that the will of the human being is stronger than one might think. And we can agree with the quotation, at the end of the day, we can endure much more than we think we can, by Frida Kahlo, a Mexican painter. Frida Kahlo was correct. For although we have discouragements in our life, we have to understand that we have believability to do more than we believe we can. We can examine this through the stories of failures and the stories of success. First and foremost, we have to understand that as human beings, we fail. A lot. So we can examine through the cases of Sashi Littleflower and Chadwick Boseman that although we fail, it does not mean that we are not success stories, that we cannot endure the hardships and pains. Sashi Littleflower was a Native American activist before she passed away previously in 2022. What she was most notably known for was accepting Marlon Brando's, Oscar for The Godfather. He refused to accept it because he knew that he wanted to support the Native Americans in their strong pursuit to claim back their land after the Academy Awards were discouragement towards them. Sashi Littleflower said that she wanted to bring awareness on stage to the struggle of Native Americans, and although she was booed and threatened to be arrested if she didn't take hold of the Oscar, as well as didn't get off the stage in a minute, she still persevered. She did so calmly, with prestige, and she did the best she could. And although she was seemingly blacklisted, people not liking her or wanting her to succeed, she took this failure and grew with it. For although she had this failure in her life, she was stronger than people thought she was. Going on to Chadwick Boseman seemed to have a very successful career before his untimely passing. In his career, the final film he made was Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. In fact, he was nominated for an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, and everyone believed that he was going to win this Oscar posthumously. So he managed to be able to accept this kind of role to get this Oscar nomination. The Oscars made it seem like he was going to win. They had an NFT of him. They had a whole tribute for him, only for Anthony Hopkins to win. Even though Chadwick Boseman lost, this is considered a failure in a sense. His family spoke up, saying that Chadwick didn't even like the Oscar, so this isn't really a loss in our sense. So even though this is a type of failure, it technically was not. For his family still stood strong and stood back for what he believed in, even though he lost such a prestigious award. So through Chadwick Boseman as well as Sashi Littleflower, it is confirmed that even though there are failures, people are strong-willed more than others can believe. Finally, even though there are failures, we can move on to success stories. These are the stories that everyone wishes to believe in. Even though people seem to believe that success stories are overbearing and clingy and cliche, they're still fun to look at, and it's great to see this kind of inspiration come forward. If we can examine through the film Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping, as well as Brendan Fraser. The film Pop Star Never Stop, Never Stopping was a 2017 Lonely Island Band production. Andy Samberg was the main character, Connor For Real, and even though Connor For Real is obnoxious and overbearing, you still want to see him thrive somehow. He tries to revive his career, many failures occurring. However, at the end, when he brings his friends back for a Newsboys for Life remake, and they bring them back for a reunion, they succeed. So even though they had this kind of failure, and he was told time and time again, you are gonna fail like crazy, you are not gonna come back from this, he managed to have the success, where his willpower managed to succeed, even though many people were saying that he would not be able to. And finally, Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser is the success story of 2022. After being assaulted by the Hollywood Foreign Press Association in 2010s, he was blacklisted from Hollywood, quit acting, and many other problems ensued. However, through his film The Whale, which does have some controversy, people were still celebrating the fact that he was back on top and saying that he should get nominated. He got nominated for a Golden Globe Award and for an Oscar, and he won the Oscar. Even though he had these types of hardships happen to him, he still managed to persevere. So through the success stories and the failures, we can assume and confirm that at the end of the day, we can endure much more than we think we can by Frida Kahlo is correct. We have managed to persevere, and we can examine through those farmers who grew these trees that the will is stronger than people can think.